Hey folks, and welcome to the Pipnotic Symposium for the 13th of September 2019. A beautiful morning here in Bali. The sun is shining. We had a huge rain yesterday, late afternoon and evening, so the jungle is glowing and I can see the blue sky above, so that'll be a nice day for growth here in the jungle. So that's lovely. We've actually had some pretty dry weather here these past few weeks, so it's always nice when we get dumped on with a bit of rain, clears the sky. Apparently there are some fires in Sumatra and Borneo where the Indonesian government is burning the rainforest. Unbelievable. But that's going on to make way for farmland, and they call it development, and I shake my head in frustration. Anyway, moving on to the charts, what's going on? Well, we can see that we have this really nice push north. You see price rallied, moved sideways and rallied. We poked into this monthly supply, and then price moved away very nicely. So we have demand down here, which is pretty far away from price still, and I'm going to mark it off like this, and I'm actually going to do this. I'll mark it off like that because we had this push away and price pull back to this monthly area before we had the release. We have a couple buy areas here below. The body of this candle is in the range of the previous, so this is the one that left. So we have something going on there at the lows. We'll probably have a bit of a bounce there once price gets up there, but you can see pretty clearly here that price is wriggling lower like so. If we have a look at the weekly chart, you can see that price is just really kind of wriggling lower and lower and lower. We have a downward sloping trend line. If we zoom in a little bit more, we have this area of supply. Actually, the indicator put it on there perfectly, so I shan't fiddle with that. We have another one here which has been tested. Okay, it's been tested. Price left very quickly. We closed below this candle. This is important. And then price accumulated for 1 week, and then price managed to close below these. So there's a lot of selling down here towards the downside. We have a look on the daily chart. You can see here that we have some pretty, essentially we have supply above price. We have this one here, we have this one here. And looking on this time frame, I can see that I'd be more inclined to draw something that looks a little bit like this. And I don't even like this one that much because it's pretty wicky. The wicks are inviting investigation on the smaller time frames, okay? So I would certainly be looking to do an analysis within these areas here so we can find an entry that is higher up in the wicks, which essentially means a fresh supply. So trend line is moving down. The robot was looking to sell here and sell here. It worked for two tests, and now price is looking to it looks like we're abandoning the lows for the time being, and we're going to try and advertise a higher price and try and bring this a little bit lower. But if we have a look within here, first of all we're going to have a look in here, and we're going to have a look up here. So if we go down to the 4-hour chart and zoom out a little bit, you can see that we have this, which is not really interesting. I mean, looking at this does not really blow my dress up, metaphorically speaking. You see price managed to poke into here. We had the beginning of the sell zone here. We had a really nice release. Price popped up, and then we had a push lower. Price went down. We poked a little bit deeper, so the beginning of the sell zone is now a little bit higher, which brings our attention to this little piece here. We've got this, and you ask yourself the question, is this fresh? No, it's not. It's actually a reaction to that. So I'll be looking a little bit higher, and essentially the highs of this pullback. Okay, the slingshot was pullback and then it left, and so I would move my rectangle up here like so, and this is where we saw the release from. Notice here that price has been trading in this area lots, so this would make me feel a little bit uncomfortable. You can trade it, but you just have to trade it a little bit more aggressively. Okay, so we have this push higher, push lower, accumulation or distribution, price left, went up, and then release, but we didn't have any big releases. There's nothing here for the time being that I would be looking terribly interested at. This looks decent here. Just here, this is kind of roughly where the highs of this pullback was. So we had a period of accumulation. Let's go to the bigger time frames. Yeah, here it is. Our price, where are we? Let's see, got lost here. Okay, here we are. We have this one here, which is at the drop, price went down, accumulated, and then dropped. The price tested the area before it released and moved lower. Okay, so price has actually already been back to the highs of this pullback here, and so the beginning of the sell zone is from here and higher. Okay, but you do have some intraday areas that you could certainly focus on. If we have a look on the hourly chart, zoom out, what are we looking at? Well, there's nothing to sell. There's no supply. See, here we need our little tool. I'm going to clean off the charts. I'm going to mark this. Okay, so this is where we are here. Okay, we have this. This is the beginning of the sell zone for this price nodule. Price went up, moved sideways, we left, we pulled back, and then we left. We didn't have a huge departure, so not too terribly interesting. And if you look at this one here, price has already been back to this area here. But this one here is slightly more interesting. We have a pretty unattractive sideways price movement here, which is essentially consuming liquidity, which is not good for our case. So looking high, see, we're looking for the high probability areas here. We have this, but this is already traded here, so there's nothing that's terribly fresh. See, I like this price came up. We traded down to this area from above, and so I think this from around here looks interesting. And if you analyze this piece a little bit closer, you can see that we had an accumulation candle. Price went up to this area and then left, and we gapped lower. So I'd mark it off like this. I'd do 2 times the size for our stop. Yeah, so I think that looks like an interesting area on the hourly chart, very far away from price. We look on the big picture, you can see this is pretty much at the origin of this move here. Okay, this actually does look like a decent area here. See, the beginning of the sell zone is at the highs. Price has not been back to this area here, so at the 111.70ish area, I think it looks pretty interesting, and this is kind of a continuation pattern, or maybe the parent and the child. Okay, but this is a pretty nice push. We had a departure, an attempt to move back, failure, attempt to move a little bit deeper than the beginning of the sell zone, failure. So now we're moving back here. My only concern is now we've onboarded the bulls that are looking to buy at these extreme lows here. We had the low here, we had a push to the lows here, so we advertised a low price, people bought, we advertised the same low price, a lot more people bought, and so now I think that we have to be a little bit careful selling for the time being, because I mean the bulls have already entered the wrestling match, and so I think that we're going to see some deeper retracements. This could be looked at intraday, but just be a little bit careful. Okay, good. Well, I'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, put them in the forum. Thanks.